Hello everybody, welcome to Forza Ramble. My name's Marcus Speller and Jim Campbell's here.
Hello.
This guy in denim is with us.
We're actually sort of slightly matching, but the opposite way around.
The opposite way. I'm wearing jeans underneath this table. Good to have you with us. We're going to be chatting to you for a little bit about the football stories that have evoked emotions. We're going to be talking about what's made you angry, what's made you sad, what's made you happy, what's made you confused, what's got you hot under the collar, Jim. Damn it all. I can see something has done there. Just as well you can't see under the table.
And I'm a deeply libidinous man.
So get your comments in on the old Football Ramble Facebook page, which is where you'll be right now if you can see this. Jim, let's start with your first story. What's grabbed your goat in the football press this week?
Well, something we didn't get a chance to mention on Monday's show actually was Crystal Palace fans vandalising the Middlesbrough bus.
Yes.
And then realising that Middlesbrough had actually borrowed the bus from Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
So they've spray painted, most of you will have seen this by now, but they've spray painted Crystal Palace all over the bus. And actually, it looks pretty good. Have you seen the graffiti?
I thought it wasn't bad.
I think they should keep it. I think they should keep it up there and just have that on the bus.
Bearing
a little
in mind,
bit of like fan culture.
Yeah, bearing in mind it must have been quite a quick
job.
In and out job. I thought they did quite well, although we don't condone vandalism, Jim.
No, well, yeah, I mean, bustleism, I think. Wasn't worth it, was it?
Yeah, we've got a couple of comments in straight away from Daniel and Jordan. They want me to do a Nelson Mandela impression, obviously.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, no. So, this has turned badly straight away.
Gone terrible.
But Crystal Palace, so that what emotion did it make you laugh?
Joy, to start with. And
Joy.
Then just sadness.
And then legalism.
And then legalism.
If that is an emotion.
I just feel, leave it there. Maybe this should be a thing that every club does now.
Yeah, very true.
The fans decorate the bus.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad idea. But their own bus.
Yeah.
Although, do you remember in World Cup 2014, they all had the slogans on the side? Do you remember that? I can't remember what England's was.
No.
I
can't remember England being involved. I try not to think about it.
We'll be back in a bit.
Yeah.
in a short while. And the Cameroon one I remember was a lion remains a lion or something like that. It was something along those lines. It wasn't particularly scary. But there we are. Get your comments in. Get your comments in. Tell us what football stories have made you angry, sad, happy, joyous, confused.
Also, any more impressions you'd like Marcus to do?
I'm here.
Do let us know.
I'm here. My Nick Hewer impression has yet to be aired.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, Jim. Another story then. What other stories evoked an emotion from you?
Well, should we talk about Wayne Rooney?
Wayne Rooney.
Because again, spoke a fair bit about him recently because there's a lot of speculation about his future. But I don't know if you've seen Ronald Koeman's comments.
Of course, I've seen Ronald Koeman's comments.
Who I'm talking to. He's basically really up for it, isn't he? He's effectively said, like, yeah, he's a fantastic player. We'd love to have him. Even like, I think it was Everton's chief executive was saying, yeah, I mean, if he was available, we'd certainly be open to it. We'd look into it. We'd probably sell a hell of a lot of shirts. But it's effectively like a come and get me plea. Like, there's been a lot of speculation about where Rooney's going to go. People thinking, would he move to a place like China because he's clearly a sort of family man who likes being in the northwest. I think with all this, that this is nailed on to happen. I think
it's a match made.
It's
a match made in Liverpool heaven, sure.
Absolutely.
When you say it's a come and get me plea, is it not a come to us plea?
Yeah, sort of come home, Wayne. Once a blue, always a blue.
It would be quite nice, though, wouldn't it?
Be.
From a sentimental point of view,
Absolutely.
if Wayne Rooney went full circle and he went back to Everton.
Yeah, because I think from a footballing perspective, we're looking at this and thinking, where does Rooney get into that team? But obviously Koeman clearly is open to it. He wouldn't so publicly state it. So I wonder, would he perhaps drop back, be a bit of a midfielder? Win the balls, Ross Barkley loses, and
Well, that's interesting because would he and Ross Barkley potentially step on each other's scouse toes?
Absolutely.
I'd like him, although I like Barkley. Obviously, he's a good player, and I'd like him to develop, and this would quash that.
Yeah.
But I would love Rooney to kind of just be like a really lazy number 10.
I imagine it. Yeah,
just
a Ronaldinho.
Yeah, without like the flashy skills.
Yeah.
But we're just trotting around the park, playing a few passes, setting up Lukaku, getting the odd goal. It'd be a lovely old job.
It would, and also as well, when we look at Wayne Rooney, we're looking at him in the context of a Man United player and what their expectations are. And clearly, he doesn't do the things he used to do in his prime, as any player doesn't, as they get older mostly. But if he were to drop down to a team like Everton, who are obviously still very good and still very competitive, that expectation would be slightly lower. And to be fair to Rooney as well, we've not really seen much of him this season. So he's always been a patchy player in terms of form. Like he probably has more to offer than we're all giving him credit for. So I'd love to see him stay in the Premier League and actually play and sort of end his career with some. With some more triumphs.
Yeah, lest we forget, Rooney's a great player.
Yeah.
I know his best days are behind him and he's a little bit more leggy these days. I do get that. And I know that one or two journalists have said that Rooney, he might be shot now. And maybe he does need...
Shot?
Not like a horse. Like a horse. Not quite as in... He might be past his bet. He might be done in terms of Premier League and therefore he should go to a China or maybe the Middle East or something like that. Yeah. Follow Clattenburg. There you go to Saudi Arabia, you can still get your booked.
It's a dark day for football when that starts happening.
You can still get sent off by Clattenburg if you go to Saudi Arabia. But he does have something to offer, there's no doubt. And would a change like that, would it rejuvenate him for the last few years of his career? Well, Ronald Koeman seems to think so.
Well, apparently so. I mean, clearly things have got stale for him at Man United, whether he likes that or not. So he's going to have to go somewhere at the end of the season, you would think, if he wants to play. I mean, who knows, maybe he'll sit there hoovering up his money, but I don't think Wayne Rooney's the sort of player to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he quite clearly makes a fair few quid and whatnot as well. What have we got here? William Hayward, thoughts on Diami's goal last night? That was for Newcastle as well. It was an important one.
I haven't seen it.
But I know it
sounds lovely.
I know it was an important one, Jim.
Right.
Which is why I said it. I mean, Newcastle, do we fancy them to go straight back up, or do we fancy them to
Newcastle it?
Yeah, and finish third and then lose in the final of the playoff
final. Yeah, to someone Alan Pardew's just taken over. Probably, you can imagine that happened. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Newcastle are going to Keegan this, frankly. They'll go straight back up. But so much of it is about whether Benitez stays, isn't it? Because he's apparently Mike Ashley has annoyed him a bit by not by not doing what he said he'd do, by sort of giving him a few more funds to bring in some players. And it was a few weeks ago that was all said, so hopefully things are rosy. I'd love to see Benitez back in the Premier League with Newcastle, just because I would like to see how well Newcastle have to do for Pete to be happy. Because he doesn't trust it, does he?
No,
he just doesn't trust it.
Yeah, but I think if Newcastle won the treble, Pete would go, yeah, but we're not going to win it next season, are we?
Well, exactly.
We didn't win the League Cup as well, did we? He would fight. So maybe Newcastle just being a mid-table team is kind of what Pete wants. That's the zenith for Pete Donaldson.
Quite.
Do get your comments in. Let us know what tickled your fancy in the football press or any other nonsense that you want to say. And it would appear that you've certainly done the second one. Chris has said Kevin Keegan to return and scupper Newcastle's promotion push. Yeah,
just as a guest. Yeah, like just go to a match and then I don't know, a stand will like fall over.
Yeah. Harry said Carragher centre back. I mean, he was.
Okay, that's probably the wrong app. You type that into there.
Scott Perdue, I think that's pronounced Scott.
We'll call him Scott Pardew.
Yeah, Scott Pardew has said three's company, but what's two? Obviously, Forza Ramble, but what's two?
What is two? It's a brace, isn't it? It's a brace of us.
Yeah, a ramble brace.
Of ramblers.
That's lovely. James has said, happy St David's Day. Swans to stay up.
Yeah, I think they will.
Happy St David's Day to everybody called David and Welsh.
Yep. Obviously, Paul Clement is doing a fantastic job there, and it's even the games they've lost of late, the performances have been so much better, and the signings he's brought in, they look like they've got something about them as well. The thing with Swansea, I think, as well, is of all the teams down there who are fighting to stay in the league, they are the one who have the best chance of just simply not being involved in a relegation battle next season. For a lot of them down there, you think it's going to take them a long time to establish themselves in the Premier League. For Swansea, they have the opportunity to make this a blip rather than them be a team that's had a good solid spell in the Premier League and then slip out of it. We see it happen all the time. But I'd like Swansea to stay up and get back to playing the football they've been playing. That's been pretty expansive and exciting, and Clement's got them playing that.
Clement or Clement, however you want to pronounce it.
Clement.
Certainly does. Clearly, we want to pronounce it like that. Will they be concerned that Claudio Ranieri's left Leicester because they look better instantly?
Well, maybe, yeah. They're sort of going to be fighting with Leicester, I would think. But yeah, it is weird, isn't it? Like how instantly it was like back to last season, not just in terms of the result, but like that third goal. It's like Barcelona. It's so slick. Like there were times last season where you were looking at Leicester thinking, what the hell has happened here? Like it was, again, we said it at the time, and it's like things have gone back to normal. It's as if Leicester and Chelsea swapped seasons last year, and now everything's gone back to normal. But like against Liverpool, they were the dominant team. They were fantastic. They had all of the hallmarks of last season's Leicester.
Indeed. I found it quite funny that one or two of the Leicester players said that they were hurt by the criticism that they'd received, maybe about Ranieri and so on, and that's why they responded. And I thought, did you not hear the criticism that you've been getting all
season?
Yeah. Maybe if you'd have turned on the old media pipes, you would have. You'd be challenging for top 4 right now, but they did improve. Joshua Collins has said, where should Ranieri go next?
That's an interesting one, isn't it?
His favourite restaurant in Rome.
Yeah, quite. Well, he's apparently had offers from Italy, but he said he wants to stay in the Premier League. And I'd like to see him have another go at, at sort of having a kind of more dignified swan song in the Premier League. But at the same time, if he were to join a team like, obviously Marco Silva's not in trouble, but for example, someone like Hull, someone like Middlesbrough, and it just be sort of middling and fine, would that maybe not be a sort of sad end to it?
Quite possibly. I think that... Do I really think this? Replace Wenger. You need a proven Premier League title winner.
Right.
Be a lovely old time.
For you, yeah. For you, Luke and Pete, it would be a wonderful time, I would imagine. I'm not so keen on the idea.
Now, Jordan Gallagher is getting involved here, and he said, is Marcus excited about Hodgson being linked with Leicester? Yes, I am.
Yes, you are, aren't you?
Should we all be excited?
Well, I think it's a sensible move, isn't it? Because obviously Leicester aren't, as everyone knows, they're not going to get back to sort of competing for the title. So talk of Roberto Mancini, because he had a loan spell that he hated there for a bit, was never really going to materialise. But I think if, obviously Hodgson's stock is quite low because of how frankly terrible he was with England. As much as we defended him, it turned out
we got it wrong.
Had a point,
we got it wrong.
We did. It happens. It's England. We're optimists. We're idiots. We should learn.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at what he did with West Brom in the Premier League, the way he established them.
And Fulham.
And Fulham, and had them playing, like functional but
and
effective
Liverpool.
football. And
Liverpool were never going down.
Liverpool were never relegated under Hodgson. There was no danger of it. I don't know what you were moaning about. But yes, so that is what Leicester need. They need some stability after the insanity of the last few years, like from their promotion to their amazing way they stayed up, then winning the league, and now this nonsense. They just need someone to just calm them down, I would think. It must be very weird being a Leicester fan.
You said it would be a sensible appointment. Is that, I mean, and you are right, I do agree with you, but is that one of those ones when, I don't know, if somebody introduces you to a new boyfriend or girlfriend, and you go, that's like he's sensible or something like that. It's a sort of a compliment.
Safe.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not having sex with him.
That we know.
What I mean?
That we know of.
It's quite a different thing, isn't it? Really.
True enough. I don't think they would even be holding hands with Roy Hodgson.
No.
But I think it would be a good appointment because Leicester, and I said this on an international news broadcaster, believe it or not, they let me on there. That Leicester don't want to be looking at the likes of Pearson and those kind of managers because that's playing small.
Yeah.
That's basically saying, we've retreated back to where we were. I know that they're down the bottom of the league and fighting relegation now. So you're not going to bring in, flipping Allegri or someone like that. That's obvious. But get a manager who's decent.
Well, yeah, they're in a quite
unique
unique
is managed
position.
in Europe because they're still in Europe.
Absolutely. I mean, they're in a pretty unique position because normally a team in the relegation zone, as they were when Ranieri was sacked, they, as you say, they wouldn't be able to aim that high in terms of the managerial appointment. You're looking at a sort of a relegation specialist, you know what I mean? Someone who saves you from that sort of Allardyce type figure. But we've all seen the quality that Leicester squad has got within it if it's really sort of pushed to its limits. And so it's a very interesting job for someone. So I think, they should be able to get a decent appointment.
They should. They should be able to get a decent appointment in the Premier League champions.
Yeah, quite.
Which is a ridiculous sentence, but
it
is valid. It is valid. What have we got here? Ben Dowrick has said, thoughts on Rooney joining forces with Roger Johnson and starting a pub team? I think one for a few years, Ben, maybe.
Well, I mean...
If he wants to play.
Yeah, I mean, they both like a drink, don't they? So... They could do that as well. Keep fit.
It's very true. Perhaps that's best left there. What else have we got? Yes, William has said, seen the Carragher-Simpson Twitter beef. Have you seen this, Jim?
I did see this, yeah.
I mean, Carragher was obviously critical of Danny Simpson and saying, you were disrespectful in a sense to Ranieri, the way you were running around on Monday and trying, as he was insinuating, and Danny Simpson said, I respect your views and so on and so forth, but I've won the league and you never won the league.
Yeah, it's great. It's really playground, isn't it?
It is a bit, yeah.
I think it's obviously Danny Simpson's got his right to reply to
Carragher's
criticism, but at the same time,
let's not be precious.
Carragher's criticism was absolutely bang on, isn't it?
They're both right.
Yeah, quite.
Essentially both right, but I feel that Jamie Carragher will be remembered more fondly for his play career than Danny Simpson.
It's an interesting one, that, isn't it? Because Danny Simpson rightly made that point, but the way things are going, I don't think Danny Simpson's going to win the Champions League. So I think that's 1-0 to Jamie Carragher.
1-0 to Carragher. Alex Nuttall really channeling the spirit of the Football Ramble with this question. Would you throw Pete's large plate at Paul Pogba in an Indian restaurant? That's the round of applause.
Do you want to explain first? Pete's plate or Pete's big plate or the Pogba thing?
Well, Paul Pogba got a plate thrown at him at an Indian restaurant, right? Which is obviously like
ridiculous,
horrible.
Pete didn't do that.
Pete didn't have the chance to do that, but we assume he wouldn't have taken the chance. Pogba, if you've seen in the media, he got a plate thrown at him at an Indian restaurant for not signing a fan's autograph. It's always a bit harsh when they say he refused to sign an autograph.
Yeah, because the headline gives the impression that Pogba's been this sort of diva-ish idiot who wouldn't acknowledge the fans' existence. But it sounds like the fans are being quite pushy and quite aggressive when Pogba's just trying to have his dinner with his mates. And we're looking for an excuse to square up to Paul Pogba.
Whatever he did, don't throw a plate at Paul. At anybody.
No,
unless it's
never a reason.
Unless it's one of those made-up Greek restaurant sort of affairs. But don't throw that at people. Throw them at walls. Throw them at inanimate objects if you're given permission. Pete's also, we should say, that where he comes into this question from Alex, he bought a massive big plate, didn't he, recently?
He did.
Of the leader. I would say the president, but he's more of a leader of China on it. And we have seen photographic evidence. It is enormous.
Yeah.
So do you think? I don't know. What was the question? Would you throw Pete's large plate at Paul Pogba? We wouldn't.
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't throw anything at Paul Pogba.
But we appreciate the sentiment behind that.
Yes, quite.
Which was to draw a smile, and my goodness, it did.
Well done, sir.
Stay in wings, Paul Pogba. You don't get that treatment in wings.
You simply don't, do you?
Yeah, you simply do not.
Although actually, I mean, is this going to make the Indian restaurant that Pogba was in the Indian version of Wings in Manchester? There's a gap in the market there.
Yeah. Nathan Folks has said, been listening for years, but still haven't. Yeah. Well done, Nathan. Have no idea who actually is Lord Ramble.
We can't tell you that.
Yeah.
Just imagine, on the news when you see someone in silhouette. And they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Just picture that.
Yeah, with Sean Dyche's voice. Over the top of it. Excellent. Steve Ken said, would Burnley sack Eddie Howe if they continue to slide?
That would be a very strange turn of events, wouldn't it?
Sean
Dyche on the phone.
Eddie, you're done. For some reason they've asked me to tell you, and I've decided to do it.
Yeah.
No, I won't cough. I like it like this.
Of course, Howe was at Burnley before.
Yeah.
Are you trying to set a precedent there?
Yeah. Should read the question again? Are we just being idiots?
Would Burnley sack Eddie Howe if they continue to slide?
It obviously means Bournemouth.
I don't know. I like the idea that the previous club that you leave have some sort of veto,
contractual thing that they can sack you from the next job.
Your odds on to win the league, like Man United could sack. Chelsea could sack Mourinho from Man United.
Yeah,
they're about to get the top four. I will pull the plug on that.
But yeah, in all seriousness, I don't know if they would sack Eddie Howe, because he's done a lot for the club, and clearly his philosophy is a long-term one, and they're trying to build something. So I think they'd obviously be disappointed if they did get relegated this season. And we've spoken about it. And I think they probably will be okay, but are likely to get dragged into it a bit more. Mm-hmm. I think they would allow him to try and get them back up because they know they're punching above their weight, and a lot of that is down to him.
Yeah, no, fair one. Paul Fullerton has said the mighty Greens, Plymouth Argyle, they need to get back to where they belong in the Championship. We could argue the point there. Are they too big for League Two along with Pompey? I mean, if you are in a division with Pompey, then you are probably punching too low. Would you say?
Quite. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to sort that out. I think that's fair.
Get up that Pompey highway.
Yeah. Ranieri to Rangers is a comment there from Scott Johnson.
We've heard some talk of another silver fox who has recently been relieved of his job heading up to Rangers. I think we'd all like to see that, wouldn't we?
Pards up to Rangers.
Pards and Ranieri, good cop, bad cop. Imagine it.
Now you are talking.
Good cop, lad cop.
Chris J. Burnham has just put Sven ?
Yeah, it's nice to get it in.
Is that just that's a blank canvas for me to talk about Sven? It's like, Sven, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to know, Chris? What do you want to know? Be more specific, but thank you very much for mentioning his name. It's about time someone mentioned him. Apart from Jordan Gallagher said get Sven back in as well. I mean, everybody's on there.
Not everyone's on that. Just you.
I think so.
You're encouraging them and you should stop.
Harry Brooks has said, who let pesky Salido into the ramble? One of many doppelgangers, which isn't quite right for me. I haven't found a particularly good one yet, but there's a number of vague ones.
Probably Bradley Cooper.
I would have said, at least. Who does Jim look like? Who do you think Jim looks like? Get your comments in. That should flood them very much so indeed. If you think Sean Dyche's voice is bad, you should hear Paul Cook's after the Pompey Carlisle game. Yeah, indeed, yeah. Manager, is that... But Dyche's voice is always like that.
Yeah,
pre-game, post-game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it must be accentuated when he's particularly shouty, which is probably the case when Luke played a clip of his voice on Monday. But it is a fascinating voice.
Yeah, it is very much so. Dan Barnard, Big Dan B, has said, who do you think is going up to the Prem from the Championship?
You would think Brighton and Newcastle, and I reckon...
A late surge from Fulham.
Well, possibly, but I reckon, given the way they've played, I think it will be Huddersfield that will win the playoffs. I think they're clearly the best team that are likely to be in that.
That'd be gutting for Leeds, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
When they finally sort of start to get themselves sorted out, Huddersfield, another Yorkshire side, come from
nowhere.
Of
course for Leeds, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's indeed, it is. Yeah, pass to Leicester from Louis there, absolutely. Chris Skilton has said, "What's the flukiest goal you've ever seen, and why is it Diame's from last night?"
Well, flukiest goal I've ever seen. Well, there was that brilliant one in Holland, wasn't there, where the goalkeeper accidentally took it over the line and the goal line technology gave it to him. That was I guess relatively fluky in the sense that without the technology that would never happen. Yeah, that pretty much killed their title bid as well, which makes it even funnier.
Do you know any kind of deflected goal's always got an element of luck in it? I'm trying to think. There was one, and we've mentioned Rangers a few times. There was one for Rangers against Club Brugge in the Champions League. Scott Nisbet scored. And I think Thomas Ravelli might have been in goal. Right. Remember the Swedish keeper, Thomas Ravelli? And it's worth looking up on YouTube. I think it was Scott Nisbet, Rangers versus Club Brugge. And he kind of, it's almost like a Jason Cundy, sort of clears the ball, but he almost tries to cross it. He whips the ball into the box. The keeper comes to get it. The ball spins wickedly and bounces over the keeper. Nice. In the latter stages of the Champions League, I think that won the game. So you tend not to get too many like that. Jim, what other stories took your fancy in the football press?
Well, I saw some talk of Daniel Sturridge. Again, he, like Wayne Rooney, he might be another one who's slightly out on his ear because Klopp has been talking about how they'll make a decision at the end of the season, and it's such a shame what's happened to Sturridge, isn't it? And his form has dropped so badly because his pace has dropped so badly, and that's lost such a vital weapon in his armoury. And I mean, where do you see him going? It's another one where you think, who's going to take him?
Yeah, well, I absolutely. Jim, we've got somebody who has responded to your lookalike. Where is it now? Andy Crisp has said Jim is Chucky from the Rugrats.
Fair. If
when I saw the word
brutal,
when I saw the word Chucky, I was relieved that it was followed by from the Rugrats.
Yeah, I mean it's not that much of a step up, though, is it?
If you know what I mean there. What else? Jason Cundy, one for the teenagers, as Ian has put there. Jason Cundy, when he went in to tackle that player, I think it was away at Ipswich for Spurs, and he tackled him just in his own half. I think it was Ian flew into the top corner. That's not like that. YouTube that Jason Cundy goal for Spurs. I don't know how many he scored, not many, but that is
in a way, isn't every Spurs goal a fluke?
Get your comments in. Get your comments in on Facebook. Steve Cairns said, "What footballing make moment have you celebrated the most?"
Don't know what that means. Yeah. Do use coherent sentences.
What footballing mistake moment have you celebrated the most? I'm going to say that he perhaps meant there.
Oof.
A mistake that you celebrated. Off the top of my head. Naeem scoring for now.
It still haunts my dreams. That
there must be a Spurs mistake that you can sort of remember.
I don't know about mistakes as such off the top of my head, but I do remember Arsenal back in the days when they were really, really good, had this strange run of playing Middlesbrough, I think 4 times in the space of about a month. And Danny Mills was quite foully in a lot of those games. And some of them had been in the League Cup. Yeah. Okay. Some of them had been in the League Cup, so sort of the bigger players weren't there. And Thierry Henry made it his mission to just mug Danny Mills off at absolutely every opportunity during the game. And I remember at one point he did a back-heeled nutmeg right over at the corner flag, just to show off and just to give the fans a chance to laugh at him. So I enjoyed that. Yeah, not a mistake. fake again, but one of those proper like moments that we can revel in.
Speaking of those kind of moments, Jeff Fraser has said, have you set foot in Pete's flat since you were imprisoned there?
No, it holds very bad memories for us. It's sort of our Robben Island in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no Stockholm syndrome going on here. We don't want to return to that. Graham Milton said, it's fair to say Jim looks like the singer from Top Loader.
No, it's not. Bradley Cooper.
What was their tune? Dancing in the Moonlight.
Yeah, that's you. Another one.
Jim often dances in the moonlight. Felix says, show us your hairy chest, please. I think he's talking to me.
I think he's absolutely
but I'm not going to do that because we don't want to put people off too much. There was another lookalike for you. Well, let me just find it here, Jim. Ben has said, Jim looks like Andre Villas-Boas. Smart.
Yeah, I've had that before. More so if you take the glasses off.
I've never really thought that, but I suppose there's a tiny
had that
bit.
Before.
Yeah, Anna said, do you guys get dressed out of the same closet? Jim and I are not in the closet and have never been together.
Let's talk about closets, please.
Yeah. Indeed. I think we're going to come to the end of
the internet. We have broken it.
We've completed Facebook now.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure chatting to you. Well, thank you very much for your comments. This is a nice one to perhaps finish on. Kevin has said, can the Ramble Boys buy Coventry City?
I don't think you want that. Be careful what you wish for, I would say, in that sense.
Pete probably could, but let's not concentrate whether he could. Let's concentrate on whether he should. Probably not, ladies and gentlemen, probably not. That is the end of Forza Ramble. Thank you very much for watching and getting involved. It's been a pleasure, as I say. Thank you for all your comments. They're coming in. Kai said, Jim looks like my dentist. I mean, that's great. He looks like all of our
You need
dentists.
a checkup, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Aha, surprise, I am.
Once every 6 months, you should go to your dentist. Jim, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
We shall be entertaining you on the Football Ramble on Monday's, Friday's show, of course, the preview show. And don't forget to download the following Monday as well. See you soon, people.